Hey, what's up? My name's Jackie, and I'm a recovering addict and alcoholic. Also, owner of Goodie Stash, where I sell things via Poshmark and eBay, mostly vintage, handmade, and modern items. And I like to share on here my past and current struggles and things I've learned in my recovery and running my small business. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to cover my top favorite things, why I love weightlifting. First and foremost is for anger management. I've had a temper for a really long time now, and it started off in my I think teens to basically up until now. And so now I feel like I'm a lot better at managing my anger, but I owe a lot of credit to that, to weightlifting, because it's a healthy outlet for me to release my anger versus before just like trying to pump myself full of drugs to suppress the feeling, what was making me angry, or just lashing out. Now I can manage my anger, and weightlifting is a really huge part of that. Second thing I love about weightlifting, and this is a really strong one for me, when I was using all the drugs, especially when I was shooting meth, it changed. Even after I got clean, it changed the way my mind worked, right? Because I talked about this a little bit in my last video. I went into a meth psychosis, so I was always hearing voices. Well, when I got sober, eventually the voices went away, but I always have like a running dialogue in my mind of just like anxiety, like things that I worry about, even things. It's hard to explain. It's like before I started using meth, I was just a really chill person. I didn't stress out about things that much. I mean, I wasn't in my head. I would say that's like the biggest difference, is like now I'm in my head a lot, and that's something I wasn't able to recover from after getting off of meth. I constantly have like a dialogue going in my mind of just random stuff. So like if I'm at the park and I'm with my son, I might be physically there watching over him, but in my mind I'm thinking, like if he wants to play hide and go seek is a good example. I'll be like, no, I can't play hide and go seek because I need to always be watching you. Because I feel like if he goes to hide and I have my eyes closed and I'm counting, who's to say that somebody isn't just going to snatch him up? I feel like if I don't see him, I'm like, he goes out of my eyesight, I'm like, where is he? Like, I get panicky. I'm like, okay, well, I just want to make sure that nobody has taken him or is trying to take him. So it's like I'm always in my head. I always have something going on in my head. I'm thinking, I'm overanalyzing, I'm overthinking everything. I might even be like over worrying about things, like the example with my son. But in a way, that's a good thing because I'm just being overly cautious, but in a way it's a bad thing because sometimes I'm not enjoying the moment as much as maybe somebody else would be, because they don't have all these things that they're thinking about, just like going over and over again in their head. Now the difference is, now it's not voices that aren't my own. It's like my own voice. It's like my own inner dialogue. So it's completely normal in a way, but it is different because my mind wasn't like this before. I wasn't an overthinker. I wasn't an overanalyzer. I wasn't in my head all the time. And so for that reason, I really love the gym, because that's the time when my mind goes quiet and I'm just go into like a flow state, or like a working state. I'm in there. I'm doing the movements. I know what I came to do. I have my list of like all my exercises that I planned for that day, and I just go right into it, and it just flows so nicely. And it's just, that is my time to just chill out and relax. And some people would find working out to be torturous, and at first I used to be that way, but now it's actually like very relaxing for me. Even if the workout is hard, it's still relaxing. Okay, so the third thing is body composition. So why I love weightlifting is it actually changes the way it changes like the shape of your body, the composition of your body. So before, like when I was in I think like probably early 20s and maybe even like teenage years, 20s, I was active and I did stuff, but I didn't lift weights. So I did a lot of cardio and stuff like that because that's all I knew. So I was basically skinny fat. Like I was skinny, but I still had like a pudginess to me, or I was never like sculpted. I always sort of pictured being like athletic and having like this nice toned body. But what I failed to realize was muscle definition is what I was wanting, was like a lean sculpted body. And I was just doing cardio. So like I could lose weight and I get skinny, which is what I did, but I didn't have that like lean sculpted look. So here, let me throw some examples in, because I'm not where I want to be like weight wise, but I'll show you. And the other problem with sharing pictures is like, up until I started this fat loss journey, I didn't take any like progress pictures or anything the first time around, but I can show you a picture of like what I looked like. Here's a picture of when I was still heavy, and you can't really see my body because when I was that heavy, I was hiding behind like layers and layers of clothes, like really loose, baggy clothes. But basically, that is the shape of my body. Like it was very fat. I was big. I was really big. You can see it in my face too, in that picture. And then let me show you a few pictures of, I guess I can just share pictures from my wedding, because essentially I was losing weight to fit in this, to look nice for my wedding. And basically it was like, I was seeing it as, I'm starting a new chapter of my life. This is going to be really exciting. I want to put my best foot forward. Like I want to start things off on a good note. So I wanted to lose all this weight for my wedding, was like the deadline, but it was like an ongoing deadline really, because I wanted to stay lean and in shape anyway. But that was just like a goal for me to work towards. So here's pictures of me in my wedding dress. So you can see I lost quite a bit of weight. And then I'll show some before pictures here of like when I let myself go after getting married and I started to get all that layers and layers of fat back on. And then I'll show some pictures of what I look like after working out for, I think it was like, I started taking these pictures maybe a few months in, up until 6 months in. And like what I look like more like nowadays. So you can, even with me still having a lot of fat to lose, you can sort of see like what weightlifting does. It changes my body shape. It kind of, like if you can't see it, like it changes the shape of my body. Like muscle starts to build under the fat. I just start to have a more defined, basically just start to become more defined. Whereas if I just did cardio, I would still have like my gut and everything like that. It would just be a little smaller, but I wouldn't have any sort of definition to it. Okay, the next thing I love about weightlifting is I love that it burns calories after you're done working out, which I find just to be very empowering. I feel like it helps me, being somebody that struggled with an eating disorder, because it's like, I know even if I eat a nice hearty meal after I work out, which I need to do because I need to recover, I need to give my muscles food, to, how they say, feed your gains. So I know that's the right thing to do, especially if I'm eating clean, I'm eating healthy. But being somebody that struggles with an eating disorder, I always would have like that thought in the back of my mind of like, well, I hope this doesn't just undo everything I just did. And that's like my old way of thinking. But I love that weightlifting continues to burn calories for up to several hours after you've worked out. I don't know the exact number of hours because I think it varies by person. And I don't even know like how many hours it still burns after I'm done. But I just take comfort in knowing like my body is continuing to burn extra calories after I've worked out, which I find very relieving. Knocking these out because I want to get home. I'm hungry, and sorry it's got to be in the car today. It's just kind of a lot going on this week. So, okay, the next one is, I love that there's always something new to learn. Like I don't get bored. Like if I'm on a cardio machine, I get bored as fuck. I get fucking bored. I don't like it. That's torture to me, is being on a cardio machine. Now, lifting weights, there's so many different variations of movements. Like, say you're going to work out your legs, you can pick just hundreds and hundreds of different leg exercises. The squat, the way you place your legs, are you going to do a wide stance? Are you going to do a narrow stance? Are you going to do a ski stance? The deadlift, are you going to do a stiff leg deadlift? Are you going to do a sumo deadlift? Are you going to do a traditional deadlift? Just like every different little movement, and you can break everything down like that too. Like, do I want to work this muscle single arm? Do I want to do double arm? What do they call that? Like single exercise? Do I want to do a unilateral movement or whatnot? It's just there's so many different movements that you can do. And it's helpful to like mix things up too, so that your body doesn't get used to exactly what you're doing. So I love that, because I get easily bored. And with weightlifting, I'm not bored. There's always something new to try. There's always something new to learn. There's always something new to try. I can always mix things up. I can always go research new movements and try those out. So I love that. I love that about weightlifting. I don't feel tortured when I'm lifting weights. And I know that sounds weird, because like it is intense, I lift until basically I go until the last 2 reps I can barely finish with correct form. So I'm really pushing myself hard. See, what I know about a lot of people, because I was one of these people, and working with a trainer, I came to realize this about myself. Most people, like, when things get really uncomfortable when you're lifting or just working out in general, when things get really uncomfortable, people let up. They let up. They say you're doing an ab exercise or whatever, and it really starts to burn. People, they relax their muscles and they're like, oh, I'll take a break, and then they may even be done. Like, they might be like, okay, I'm good. Like, I'm done. That burns. That's uncomfortable. But what I've trained myself to do is I work through that uncomfortable burning feeling, because in my mind, I just tell myself, this is where the change happens. This is my body pushing itself to the point where it's going to be able to change. And so I like the torture. I like this kind of torture. Like, it is a little torturous in the moment, but I like it because I have that weird like relationship with pain. Being somebody that was an IV user, that's obviously kind of a painful thing. Poking yourself with a needle to get high, and when your veins roll, or when your veins roll or give you trouble, you have to poke yourself over and over till you can get a hit. So it's like, I liked that torture too. And I've liked other kinds of torture, like, for instance, alcohol. When I drank it, the burning feeling, like it burns as it goes down my throat. I like that. Like, I like torture to a certain degree. And it's because I am such like an extreme personality. So I'm going after like that really intense feeling. So what I learned about my meth using was, I like to use so much to where it slowed me down. Like, I got this intense rush when I first took a shot. And what I learned later was that I was basically overamping. I was using so much, that's called overamping. And it's very dangerous. But that's the type of high I was after every single hit. So that just speaks to like how much of a long history I have with just like doing very extreme things to my body. So it's like a healthy way to be extreme with my body. Like, I push through that burning. I push through those last reps that really are uncomfortable. And I know by doing that, I'm giving myself an added benefit. And it's actually good for my health. So we'll end it there for today. That'll be the last one. And then I'll continue this and then I'll do a part 2 on this. Maybe not the next video, but maybe a few after, because then I can go on to like a different topic or whatnot. So, all right. Until next time, thank you so much for watching, and stay strong, stay grateful, and stay positive.